Hey guys, this is Joshua from the Entrepreneur's Journey, and I wanted to go live really quick because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and that's something that's actually really dear to me. I actually struggle with that my whole I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I've had those issues my whole life. So I wanted to speak personally from a standpoint of dyslexia, OCD, ADHD, and learning processing disorders are all the things that I've had challenges with growing up. And I thought it was very interesting because the way when I reflect back on life, I'm in my early 30s now, and when I look back and reflect on life, I'm seeing and I'm realizing how my mental health disabilities or whatever you want to call them or challenges, whatever, they actually are my superpowers. So I'll do a really brief summary of where I'm going with this. So when I was younger, so I had these mental challenges, right? And yeah, I got prescribed medicines and all that stuff, like Prozacs or just a lot of stuff, and even Xanax and all that stuff, right? And nothing really helped, but the Adderall and stuff would help my focus a little bit. But the thing is I felt like it took away my spark, and I don't know if people like can relate to that. If you guys kind of know what I mean by that, but I just felt more dull. I didn't feel like fully me, right? So when I was younger, in elementary school, I remember noticing pretty early, really more toward middle school, actually, about sixth grade probably. I started noticing that I wasn't like everyone else when it came to learning, and it just seemed like everyone could actually learn, and I didn't know any. Nobody ever in my family knew anything about ADHD. We didn't even talk about it, right? Like nobody knew what it was, and I just knew that for some reason I tried my best to do good in school, and I couldn't focus. I didn't know that's what it was back then, but I just remember it's like I would just look up, and the clock, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention, and then I would look up, and then the day would be over, like the class would be over, and I'm like, what just happened for the last hour? you know so I noticed that I wasn't like everyone else, and it did lead me to think I was really dumb growing up because I was getting bad grades, even though I tried, right? And in high school, I actually got really, really low grades, and it made me feel dumb when I was a kid. Also, when I was a kid, some close family members that I seek approval from, I guess I could say just like a parent and like whatever, like would always consistently call, me and my twin and stuff. I have an identical twin. They would call us dumb, right? And that didn't help because that was the framework growing up. And then they're calling me dumb or whatever. And then they left our lives or whatever. And then I go to school in middle school, and then I'm getting straight F's. That's reinforcing that belief. And I wanted to talk about it because it did crush my self-esteem. And also on top of that, I felt like I was personally born with a lower level of self-confidence than it seemed like than everybody in the world. I was like looking, I was like, everybody seems so sure, so comfortable. I'm just like scared all the time. Like anything can happen. I had a lot of social anxiety, tons of anxieties. Yeah, I've had anxiety almost my entire life, right? And like yeah, so all these kind of challenges, and I remember it being really hard in I was in 11th grade, I think, or 10th grade, but I was in the easy English class for ninth graders, right? It was like the easiest one. I can't remember how, it's been a while, right? But I remember like I was in grades lower than me, right? And it was that's not building your confidence, especially when you're in high school, right? And like you're in a ninth grade class and you're like in 10th or 11th grade. So I remember that was really hard on me, emotionally, mentally. It really reinforced that I was dumb, 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 dumb. And then when I was 24 years old, I lived with one of my boys, and I remember he told me, my boy Weaver. So he told me, I remember back then, he was like, hey, dude, like you're one of the smartest people I know. And he said that, and I was just like, what? So I was like, me? I was like, I got like straight F's, dude. Like, so in high school, I got really like straight F's, but I tried trying. You see what I'm saying? And then one day I gave up and I just started ditching, went to alternative high school. And then that was a cakewalk. It was like straight A's. But you just had to show up, right? But it was really challenging for me mentally, emotionally, and it made me think, until about 24, I was really dumb. And when my boy said that, I was super shocked. And then it started making me think. I was like, well, maybe I'm not dumb. Maybe I just learned different than everyone else, and maybe I just wasn't interested in what they were talking about. And then when that clicked, then my confidence really started to come. And remember, I was born with a lower level confidence, right? Like the way I felt, right? Like compared to everyone else. And it doesn't help when you have a parent like verbally like belittling you as a kid until about 10 years old, right? So so yeah, so anyways, long story short, he told me that. It inspired me. I was like, okay, maybe I just learn differently, maybe I think differently, because I've always saw myself thinking a little bit differently than everybody, and a lot of the backwards kind of thinking. I don't know if dyslexia is involved with a backwards level of thinking, but I would think of things completely backwards from other people. And I always noticed that my brain would be moving 10 times faster than what's happening in real world. So for example, I remember it's embarrassing, kind of, not really, I mean, whatever. But like I remember I was writing my name on a piece of paper, and then I forgot the S, and like one or two letters in Joshua, my name. And then my teacher circled it and wrote a question mark, and she's like, "What's wrong with you, dude?" But like, they probably thought I was high and stuff. I didn't smoke weed or nothing, like none of that in high school, right? So I think though what it was my brain. Well, I know that's what it is because it still happens to me today. It's like my brain's moving 7 words in front of where my hand is when I'm writing, so it goes so slow, and that's why I like to talk. So I started learning tips and tricks like that with myself. I have the worst memory in the world. I will never remember a girl I date's birthday or her middle name, probably. Maybe, but like it's tough. But like, so I have a very tough memory, but I always remember things that are vital and important, like to my survival. So I don't know if that's how everybody's brain works. That's similar to mine, but I remember important stuff really, really well, right? So I'm like a steel trap with that stuff, but it's because I think I like to keep my brain empty. And so the more I do, the more I don't hold in here, then the more I can keep that fast processing speed. I'm not bogged down. You know what I mean? So anyways, I just wanted to reach out and tell you guys kind of my journey. If there's any questions, you guys please leave them in the comments or message me on any platform. But the summary of the story is it taught me I'm grateful for my challenges, right? Because it taught me that I can actually like learn. I was like, people pick up things quicker than me, and that's okay because I can actually play in the game. So I just got to play with my strengths. So I had no problem with like when I'm listening to an audio podcast or something, trying to learn in a class. I'll have to listen to it probably 10 times. For some people, I have to listen to it once and they got it. That's just not me. It's just not how it is for me. But it created a passion in me for knowledge. So I'm obsessed with learning now. I love learning, and I'm grateful for those challenges because one, it helped me create this strong desire to figure things out and learn. I love learning. Every day I'm learning all day. It also I feel like low attention stuff like that help me be so creative and kind of stay in my head and see things and be an entrepreneur and create businesses and do a lot of the cool things that I'm happy that I did. Create music, be a musician. I was always a very good musician in my opinion, and songwriter. I mean, my twin and stuff. So I've always had this creative brain because I don't have attention for boring stuff. And then I realized I learn really, really good with things I care about. And that's like the kicker. So anybody that's struggling with like the learning disability stuff, whether you're young or old or whatever, see how you do with things that you actually care about. And then I learned, okay, I can learn really, really well. Yeah, I might have to go through it a few times. Like, that's just the way my brain is and it's the way I work. And I understand the advantages that come with that. I think I have a drive that most people don't have because of my learning challenges. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I'm very grateful for it. And I remember the pills seem to take that unique specialness off because people always kind of said they kind of like, looked at me in a certain way a little bit, whatever. But I think it was because of my mental health challenges, and it made me a lot different than people. And I think it was just a really helpful thing. So I think that like, you know, go into a world in your head. I think I would create these worlds in my head. And once I finally started to actually believe that I can actually create that in reality, It was a massive, inspiring game changer for me, and it lit a fire that will never go out. Like even 10 years later, I am more excited about life and things I'm working on than ever, for sure. Right in this moment, I'm happier by tenfold that I've been ever, especially in the last few months, or like 6 months. It's like my happiness level has really went up. But I think that a lot of it is obviously getting older, figuring out how your brain works. And there is no one size fits all. I think of medicine is trying to, not like trying to intentionally, but it's kind of trying to make everybody think and be the same. And I think we should embrace like the uniqueness in us. You know what I'm saying? It makes good leaders, and it makes a strong drive to go through a lot of those challenges and experiences in life. I've always noticed people that have learning disabilities, in my opinion, I always feel like I noticed that they have something unique about them. They think in different ways, and they can see things that the average person wouldn't look for. And I think that that's a gift. So I think that for all of us struggling with anything like that, I think we should be grateful and realize it's our superpower. I've heard 5 out of the 6 sharks on Shark Tank have dyslexia. I hear, right? And I hear that 80% of millionaires and billionaires have some type of mental illness or mental challenge or whatever, right? So if that's the case, hey, we're already ahead of the pack. So it makes it a little bit better for us. So I just wanted to put that out there, bring some inspiration to you guys. So if anybody's in the stage that I was before, then I think that it's a new way to look at it, and I think that you'll really appreciate it and start to see the beauty in it and the gift. So that's it, guys. My name is Joshua McCray. If you guys do, please, if you guys do want to hear more from me, or just want to message me or talk to me in general, the YouTube channel is obviously The Entrepreneur's Journey. Please leave comments below if you like it, subscribe. This is an entrepreneur-based channel. However, we still do talk about things from relationships to personal development, especially, and entrepreneurship. So please do that. You can also find me on Instagram at jmccrayfitnessofficial.com. So that's JMCCRAY, fitness official. Or that's the Instagram handle. Sorry, that's my Instagram handle. Yeah, and then just send me a message if you guys, if you have any questions on this or anything like that. And I will be sure to get back to you ASAP. Okay, guys, have a great rest of your day.